Wait till I look thin.
You're on. You're on.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to Trail Talk. I am so glad that you're joining us today. We have two lovely guests with us, Marianne Hooten and Bonnie Talley, and they are here representing, I'm just going to say the Gabriel's House, both Gabriel's House entities, and we will explain that more later. Because first of all, I want to tell you guys, we're live here at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. And we are actually in our classroom studio. We're just at a different location in the classroom studio. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Trail Talk. Yes, you guys are going to be blown away, I think, when you really hear the story of Gabriel's House and all that Gabriel's House has done in our community. It's a beautiful story, and I'm excited for us to hear about it. But first, I think we should get to know these ladies. So, Marianne, let's start with you. You're here representing Gabriel's House, and if I'm not mistaken, you are really new as far as being a part of Gabriel's House. Is that right?
Yes.
How long have you been on the job?
I started January 4th
Okay.
and worked for a week and then came down with COVID.
Uh-huh.
A couple of weeks later, got back and have started back at Gabriel's House as the new executive director of Gabriel's House, Inc.,
Uh-huh.
which is where we have all our children and our programming, and we
It's where the rubber hits the road,
absolutely,
right?
that's where all the magic is.
Oh yeah, that's where the magic happens. I like the way she said that. And so you are very new. You've only been able to probably work, what, 3 or 4 weeks then? I mean, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so tell me, brand new, working in this position. I know the position just opened up like in the fall, but tell us a little bit about you, like where you're from and how you're here and part of all this.
Well, I'm from Duncan.
Okay.
I grew up in Duncan. I'm an Emerson grade school graduate. I'm a Duncan High School graduate.
Mm-hmm.
I went to OU Law School, went down to SMU and got a postgraduate degree in tax law. Then I got married, and much to the chagrin of my entire family, who all lived in Oklahoma, because my dad was an Okie, my mother was Italian, moved up to Michigan. But the thing about Michigan is they had lots and lots of nonprofits. And so I got to work in the nonprofit sector a lot in Michigan. And I got to learn from the very beginnings of the birth of nonprofits, because they've been talking about this huge transfer of wealth that's going to happen anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
For the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't happened yet.
Well,
In any case,
we can hope.
as soon as I had the opportunity, I moved home and I got to come home to Duncan. And I have a child in Dallas and a child in Oklahoma City, another child who travels, and I'm just thrilled to be home. Gabriel's House is all about nurturing spiritually, intellectually, with love, kindness, with grace, with God's power, raising up our future. And, you know, so many children get left behind and especially with COVID, we're talking about our kids being behind in an entire year. Well, that means that our kids aren't going to be able to compete with on a national level or an international level.
International level, right.
And so we need to do whatever we can to make sure that our kids have the best opportunities that they can have. The way you do that is you nurture them and you grow them and you love them from the minute they're born, and the younger the better. So we work with elementary school kids, and it's nurturing growth, spiritual growth, loving them, academic assistance. I've had kids come in and get math homework assistance, which I happen to love because I love that. And it's just,
Tax
yes,
attorney, yeah,
yes.
she likes that.
So the other teachers are like, yeah, go get Mary Ann
right,
in the office. And it has just been wonderful
Okay,
because the kids are what, without kids, there wouldn't be a future.
Right. Okay, so I'm picking up a couple of things. You're kind of passionate about what you're doing. Did you guys catch that? I really got a lot of that. I think you're very excited about being back home, and welcome back.
Thank you.
I mean, that is wonderful. Now, what you were saying might be a little overwhelming, or a very broad description of what happens. And I want people to get a step-by-step picture, because what you're saying is that it's all true, and I'm 100% on board with all of it. But I want people to see the strategy that Gabriel's house implements, and how you actually do touch individual children on a daily basis. That's what I want us to talk about. So let's go through the process. Okay, it's a brand new school year. What happens?
We get applications from the students have an input, the parents have an input, the counselors have an input. We get applications from kids that want to come to Gabriel's house.
And how old are they?
They're all elementary school. They're
Like
K through 5.
Okay, K through 5th grade.
Yes. And it's an after-school program. And so the kids who are accepted into the program, they are bused directly from their elementary school to Gabriel's house, which is right now functioning out of the old junior high school, middle school in Duncan.
Yeah, and
So-
you guys, if you're watching and you're familiar with Duncan, you know the building is it's holding its own. It's limited space, and it's serving its purpose, but it is hopefully not the end all as far as locations go. Okay, so they're bused, and
they
these
get off
are
the
from
bus
every elementary school in
From all
Duncan.
5 elementary schools in Duncan, and then
Okay.
we have a program in Comanche and Empire as well. So
But
they're
to
different
different
locations.
okay, they stay in their communities.
Yes.
Okay,
So the kids get off the bus, they come into their classrooms, and they're divided up by age groups.
and how many
there's
students?
more than 100, well, right at 100 in Duncan, and 25 in Empire, 40 in Empire, 25 in Comanche, or vice versa. So that's about the maximum capacity
Right.
because of the facilities that we have right now.
Do you have the same number of students from every elementary school?
No. not
So
at all.
okay, they filled out an application and they want to come. What kind of criteria are you looking? I mean, do you ever have to turn kids away?
Yes, there is a waiting list.
Okay,
we
there's a
have.
waiting list.
Yes,
Okay.
There is a waiting list.
So
because
how are they selected then?
the ones that need the most help, the ones that, as Bonnie can tell you the story, the latchkey kids, the kids that would otherwise be going hungry, the kids who don't have anyone at home with them, that don't have anyone to do their homework with them. And these kids come in, they get a snack, they get homework help, they are taught a Bible lesson, they get art classes, there's other enrichment activities. There is even a STEM program for these children, and STEM is state of the art. There's already a STEM program at Gabriel's house at all 3 sites. Yes.
That is so cool.
And then they're fed dinner to make sure that those kids have enough nourishment. So they can,
Right, so they're good until they get to school and have breakfast at
the
school the
next
next
day.
morning.
Absolutely. Yes.
And now, for some of you watching, this, you get it. You know what these circumstances are and that it's really like that. But some of you might be a little bit foreign to this idea, but there are hundreds of children who are hungry in Duncan. I mean, other communities too, but I'm just going to talk about Duncan just for a minute. There are hundreds of children who are hungry every day.
More than 50% of
Yes.
our elementary students go home hungry every day.
And so that is, I mean, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of kids. That's,
Mhm. To me.
yeah. So, but my point is, Gabriel's house meets the physical needs that these children have, but it also helps the parents who are struggling to put the food on the table. And this is an assistance to them. I don't want anyone to think that Gabriel's house is doing something that the parents don't want to do.
Oh, no.
They
not
are
at
doing
all.
something that the parents are appreciative because it helps them stretch the food that they do have for their families and helps it go farther. So
And-
would that be a?
Oh,
okay,
absolutely.
okay.
And the idea of growing the program would be to get the parents involved as well. And we know that if we can get the parents involved at the youngest age possible, and the kids involved at the youngest age possible,
Mhm.
we can maximize the intelligence of these children. We can maximize their opportunities.
Mhm.
We can do magic. We can do miracles if we can get to the kids.
Right.
And now we're hoping that we can bring in the parents. Our parents are thrilled for
Well,
them
I
to
mean,
come
they
when they come pick up
they
their
filled
kids.
out an
Absolutely.
application.
Mhm.
They're asking Gabriel's house to give them a hand that they
Mhm.
really need.
Mhm.
And so I know that they would be as supportive as they possibly could be.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to guess that you are not by yourself with 100 energetic elementary age children for how many hours are they there? A couple of hours?
3.5. They get there right
3.5 hours.
about 3.5 hours.
That's
3 hours a day. Yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty long time. So you're not doing that by yourself, are you,
No,
Mary Ann?
no,
Okay,
no.
so tell us who's there.
We have wonderful teachers that some of them are teach during the day, and then they come after they're done at the other elementary schools. Some of them are retired teachers. Other people don't have their teaching certificate, but we have in each classroom, there's a coordinator and there's an assistant to make sure that we have plenty of attention provided to the 20 kids in
Mhm.
each classroom.
And are these volunteers?
No, we have them paid. They're now paid.
Okay.
When the program first began and Bonnie was involved, yes, it was all volunteers.
Yeah.
And now I don't work for free either. I'm paid and all the teachers are paid as well.
That is wonderful. That is so great because that gives you, I mean, I had a couple of years where I got to do sport. I drove a van. I did drive a van, but I also got to do sports with kids once a month. My daughter and I would go to one of the Gabriel's house locations and we would play basketball, or we would go outside and kick a soccer ball. We did a lot of really fun things. And so, but I'm thinking of the consistency now that you have with that they're paid. And so bravo, that's wonderful. And we're going to get to how that's even possible here in just a minute. But I wanted to go back because you mentioned you were glad to go to Michigan because of the 501c3s that are up there. this is a little off topic, but is it really a much bigger, really?
Oh, my goodness. You have Kellogg, you have Post, you have General Motors, you have Gerber Baby Food. All of those companies, Ford, have formed foundations. So you have, and here we look at the McCaslin Foundation. In Battle Creek, Michigan, where I lived and the community I worked, was the headquarters for the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, one of the largest foundations in the country.
And so organizations form to,
Absolutely.
and apply to receive money from that.
Absolutely. I didn't work for the Kellogg
wow.
Foundation.
Okay.
I actually got to be involved in the programming, in the getting donations and starting scholarship programs and finding affordable housing for people. And the economy in Michigan, because it is part of the Rust Belt, it has a lot of really big ebbs and flows, more than even the oil and gas industry. And so you have kids that are literally, I mean, it's not, it's
Right.
horrible.
It's a bad,
There
it
are-
would be really bad.
Yeah,
right?
you have gangs and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but
there are organizations.
But there are organizations that will fund programming. And it's a matter of, getting your programming together and your
Right.
fundraising together. And
you know what, I think I see the providence of you moving back home and just the time that Gabriel's House had this executive director's opening, because you have a wealth of knowledge and experience that are bound to benefit Gabriel's House.
well, and it's
in the
my
future.
passion. So for me to find Gabriel's house
Right.
is a blessing for me.
Yes.
Because I, of course, have my passion is children. There's nothing better than being a mother in the whole wide world.
Right. Yeah.
And so I'm blessed for finding Gabriel's house that needed somebody like me.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so-
That is fantastic. So, you said something about scholarships. Do the children pay to attend
some
Gabriel's House?
Some families that are able to will pay tuition for their
Okay.
children. For one child, it's a certain amount, and then there's a graduated scale.
Okay.
And so there is a tuition, but no child is turned away because of an inability to pay.
So is it kind of a scholarship situation then? So you have additional finances that cover that as well. Wow, this is wonderful. And well, I'll let Miss Bonnie talk about, I'm gonna switch gears for a minute. And Miss Bonnie, you are the original, you're the OG of Gabriel's House, right? She is.
25 years ago.
Yeah, how long?
It's been 25 years since
25.
I've spoken and started trying to
Uh-huh.
make it happen.
I even remember you coming to my house one time and talking to me about
I remember that.
work. Yes, and it was just not the right time for me to. Yeah, I had little ones and things like that. But anyway, tell us just briefly why Gabriel's House?
Okay,
What is it?
and I'm gonna put a little blurb out there. I did write a book, and it's been printed, and it tells the why. But there's so many things that make us who we are and what we do. But there was a little boy when I lived in Norman that lived on the street with me in a real nice neighborhood that actually wore a key around his neck. Only child, parents both worked in Oklahoma City, and he just roamed the neighborhood. And I didn't do much to help that little boy as much as I wished that I had have. But after we came back from Norman and moved back to Duncan, I started having dreams about this little boy, and they would not go away. And I had been asking God what he wanted me to do with the rest of my life, and he kept talking to me about this little boy, this little latchkey kid, as they called him back then.
Right.
And in my book, I talk about that I tried everything else, all kinds of things. That wasn't what I wanted to do. I'm not a teacher. I had no experience with anything like this. But finally, one day I gave in, and I'm not going to say when because then I'd start crying, but I spoke it. I spoke it out loud at the church on a Sunday morning. And then there was no turning back. And I said, there are lots of latchkey children. And what we don't always talk about, there's other circumstances other than just being latchkey.
Right.
A lot of the children that we have served, several of them, both parents are incarcerated. We have children that are being abused. We have children that are food insecure. There are children who get absolutely no help whatsoever with their homework or any of the basics.
Probably some of them are being raised by grandparents.
Great-grandparents.
Great-grandparents, and I mean.
Non-English speaking parents.
They would just need extra help. That's so much.
Yes. And so the First Christian Church helped me, and we bought a house at 412 North 2nd Street. And they were the first church that bought into this whole ministry, because we call it a ministry. It is.
Right.
And we ran the program the first year with volunteers, which was very interesting. But it was so funny because I just thought we were just going to be taking care of some latchkey kids. And then you find out all these things that are going on in the lives of these children. And you go home at night and you cry because you can't remove the children from their circumstances, but we can give them a little block of time every day where they're loved, encouraged, appreciated, fed, get that homework assistance, physical activity, and then all of the enrichment things that we've done with the kids all the years as far as art and music and things like that, that most of these children would never have an opportunity to do outside of just what the schools can provide.
Yeah, I remember when I drove the van, it was the day that the boys went into martial arts class and the girls took dance. And then there was a big recital and big martial arts demonstration at the end of the year, you know, I mean, yeah, absolutely opportunities that they would have never had. So just, I
And
love
the
it.
self-esteem that gives to each of those children, nothing else can do that.
Right.
Their ability to participate and perform and be encouraged, you know, there's nothing else like it.
Yes, that is so true. So you started in one house. How many kiddos were you able to serve?
12.
You
Well,
served
we tried 15 the first year, but 15 5-year-olds or kindergartners through 5th graders was not good. And so we finally narrowed it down to 1st through 3rd.
Right,
and
I thought it was a smaller age group at
Yes,
one time.
it just wasn't working the way, having all that age group together. I thought the big kids would help the little kids. Yeah, they helped them. They taught them some things they didn't need to know.
Yeah, there's a reason they're separated at the elementary school.
But at one time, we were in all 4 of the Title I schools in Duncan, and a different church owned the little houses, and they maintained them and helped us with them and all that. But
So these were housed like just a
Little
neighborhood house that
We walked
was
them.
very near enough to walk the kids from school to the house. And then the house was, I mean, there were volunteers there who just spent there's a structured, it was a
it was very
structured,
structured.
yeah, a structured period of time with those kiddos.
Yes. And we've always taught, I can't believe, I think it was maybe the 2nd year that we started teaching character curriculum. It was being taught in the Duncan Public Schools. So we decided that we actually bought the character curriculum.
Character counts or something like that?
No, there were
No?
character, it was just called
It was
character curriculum.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it was different back then, but the Duncan Public Schools approved it because they were using it some too. But we added to it and we put scripture verses with it and Bible stories.
Right.
And responsibility, obedience,
Mhm.
truthfulness, all
Yeah,
those
yeah.
kinds of things that kids weren't getting at home.
Mhm.
And in those little houses, we were like a family. I don't know if you remember, but we all sat around the table like you
Mhm.
would at home,
Yeah.
because most of these kids never did that. And a lot of time I would say, what's the best part of your day today? Or what was the worst part of your day today? And I'll never forget, one day the word of the month was obedience. And I said, oh, we all have rules we have to obey. And I said, let's go around the table and everybody tell me one of the rules at their house. And this one little girl came to her, she goes, don't smoke dope in the house. And I went, that is a really good rule to
Yep.
have. And we just moved on.
But that is the reality.
It was and still is the reality.
That's exactly right. That is, that's just the norm
Mhm.
for so many children, is just exposure to a lot of things that I think are belong in a more grown-up world,
Yes.
and not something that little innocent
Kindergartners are
kindergartners,
supposed to know.
yeah, are supposed to know, but they do. And so because they do, the lessons at Gabriel's house are even
Help
more
counteract
important.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're even more important, just to lay that foundation, get that groundwork in.
And we've had children that were being physically and sexually abused and things like that. We can't take them out of that, but we can love them.
Right.
We can let them know that they're valuable, they're important, and that they're good,
Yes.
and that was, I spent lots of nights crying, but I still felt like if you helped one kid, and I still say that, if you help one kid each year, it was worth it.
Right.
you
Right.
know.
For 25 years.
Well, we've had we still have some second generation
Uh-huh.
kids in our program, but we've had second generation kids who have graduated out of our program now too, and that's just awesome to
And
see.
you've
those
had some of your graduates come back and work
Mhm.
with you as well.
volunteer or work there. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I mean, that's the kind of full circle you want
Yes.
to see happening. Can you all see how this enriches your community when you have people who are committed to the children? It's like you said, Marianne, the children, they literally, I'm not trying to borrow some lyrics, children are the future,
They
but
are.
they
are.
really
Absolutely.
are. They really are. And people, you can never have someone tell you enough times that you're awesome,
And they
or
love
that
it.
you're smart,
Mhm.
or that you're beautiful, or that you're strong, or you can do it. You can't say that enough times.
No.
And
And all
so,
of us need to hear it,
absolutely.
even the grown-ups.
Yeah. So, Bonnie, you've got the shirt on.
Yes.
And so what is your title with
I'm
Gabriel's
just the
House?
founder.
The founder.
I'm just
Okay.
the founder.
She is just the
I
founder.
help teach art lessons,
Uh-huh.
and I do miscellaneous things.
Whatever.
Yes,
whatever.
whatever.
I call her board emeritus.
Yes.
Yes, and
And your role has probably evolved
it
over the
has,
years.
It has.
But the Gabriel's House that's at the old junior high, that's a temporary place as far as you're concerned,
Yes.
right? Because today you're here to talk about the Gabriel's House Foundation.
Yes.
And so tell us
Okay.
about that.
When we moved into the old junior high building, that was in 2016, and the very first year we outgrew it. And we do not have access to the gym. And we have a little tiny playground, but when you've got kindergarten through 5th grade, they don't need to all be playing together.
Right.
It's very dangerous. So anyway, at our 2018 fundraiser, I shared a dream with the people at the fundraiser for Gabriel's House, that we someday have our own home, that we have a permanent place. We rent the facility that we're in from Duncan Public Schools, but like I said, we outgrew it.
Right.
And our kids need more opportunities for physical activity, and that would require a gym. When we feed these kids a full meal every night, we're working out of, it's not really a kitchen, it's kind of it was a snack room. We need a real kitchen, and we need a place. We would love to feed all these kids in the dining room together. And so I just shared that dream at the fundraiser, and a good friend of mine, before I left that night, gave me $100,000 and said, maybe this can help you get started. And we purchased land, and we have over 5 acres at 904 West Elk, due north of the big water tanks. And
if you take Elk and cross Country Club or 10th, whatever that is, whatever it's called right there, and curve around where there used to not be a road. I
right,
remember back
When
in
there
the
was no
day
road,
when there was
yes.
no road, but you curve around right up there. I've heard you say it's the highest point.
it is. It's the highest
In Duncan.
point in Duncan. And one of the other things about it that makes it so incredible, it is Chickasaw land. And the woman at the First Christian Church, who was the financial director that helped me start Gabriel's house, it was her grandfather's allotment from the Chickasaw Nation. And when she was alive, she wouldn't sell it. And we got to purchase it from her great nephew. And I said, she's up in heaven smiling down, because we will honor the sacred heritage of that land, and it'll never flood. And we also, our kids have always interacted with nursing homes. And Jeff Gregston will let us cut a nature trail kind of through so that our kids can walk over to his facility and interact with them. And he already knows the benefits of kids and with older people and older people with kids. It helps both.
Everybody.
And anyway, we're just really thrilled. We, just about the time we were getting ready, of course, to kick off a fundraiser, COVID hit and kind of knocked us all backward a little bit, but we're getting ready now and gearing up to get that done. And we believe if it's part of God's plan, that we will be able to raise the funds to create this new facility. And it's going to look somewhat like an elementary building, but really, I just want it to look like a big house. The kids used to sing the song, "It's my father's house," a great big house with lots and lots of room and lots of food. That's what I envision. But I would love that we have in the drawings, there's grade appropriate playgrounds. It will have storm shelters. We do not have access to those now. There's just so many things we could do, but one of the main things we could do some summer programming. And we could also do parenting classes.
Wow.
And, if we could keep their kids, some of these people might come to Bridges Out of Poverty, budgeting, parenting, those kinds of things. Whereas if they don't have somebody to take care of their kids, they're not going to come.
No, well, I mean,
They can't.
that's for anybody.
Yes.
You always need that
Yes.
help if you want to do grown-up things.
Yes.
And you have kids, you need somebody who can give you a hand.
But we're really excited, and we're just looking forward to the future, believing that this is going to happen and that we'll have a permanent home that we're not worried about.
And how many children do you anticipate you'd be able to serve at this facility?
It would serve 120 pretty much, but with all the things we need to serve them.
Yes.
We could go back to doing karate and Zumba and dance and all of those things.
At that facility.
Yes, at that facility, because we've got so many kids now that we can't transport them all.
Right, yeah, a van only holds so many kids.
15 people, 2 adults.
Yeah, 2 adults and your 12 kids and you're full.
Yes, and so we're really looking forward to having everything right there, being able to use it during the summer months and in the evenings some too. So it's a big dream.
Oh,
It's a really big dream.
and so if someone wanted to see this drawing,
Yes.
or so, how would they be able to
They
find
can,
out more?
okay, they can contact me or they can come by Gabriel's house. And I would be glad to sit. We have done a mail out and we have mailed out over 500 brochures to people in the community that actually shows the the floor plan and the drawing, the front elevation of the building. And, but I'm willing to, I've been going to civic clubs, church groups. I'm doing one this Sunday. I'll be willing to go talk to any group of people to tell them, yes, study clubs,
Right,
anything, any
any-
group that meets together.
Uh-huh.
I would love to share the dream with them.
And if someone wanted to donate, if someone wanted to be a part of this fundraiser, well, do you have two separate budgets?
Yes.
Because you
yes.
guys you
The
raise money for
Gabriel's
the
house
Gabriel's house at daily.
all the time.
All
Okay.
the time.
And I will back up just a minute. We do have an angel program at Gabriel's house, and that is just where a person adopts a child and they pay so much per month, and there's different levels, and they can help offset the cost of that child coming to Gabriel's house too. So,
Okay.
but that is all Gabriel's house. Then we created a separate foundation
Okay,
made up of some community leaders. And our sole purpose is to build this building, maintain this building, and oversee the use of this building. And that has nothing actually to do with the program. It's just providing the program, what we call a forever home.
right. So you've got the
The
work,
program,
you got the program, you got the money for the program, and then you've got the dream,
yes,
and you've got.
which is a structure
A
for the
stru-
program to
Yes,
operate out of.
yes.
Mhm.
But that needs its own money
Yes,
to be raised for it. So there are two ways people can support.
yes. Gabriel's house
Gabriel's
or the
house.
foundation, which is going toward that building.
And so how would people find out how to donate or become one of the angels? What would they need to do?
Just call Gabriel's house at 580-255-4872.
Okay, and
And-
we will put this in the comments. We'll put the phone number in the comments.
And I just happen to know how to help them put it in their will, in their trust, in their estate plan. Any way they'd like to make a gift, I can figure out how to get it done.
She's the lady with the know-how. That's what she
Yes.
is.
And if you want to give to the foundation,
Uh-huh.
we have a post office box, the Gabriel's House Foundation, post office box 145.
Okay, this also will go in the comments.
Yes,
145.
and that would go, if anybody wanted to send a check, that would go to the building.
Okay,
to the
and
foundation.
so, you would want to put Gabriel's House Foundation.
Yes,
On the
yes,
check.
that is the only bad thing about having Duncan Public Schools. They have a school and a foundation.
Yes.
So does Duncan Regional Hospital, but sometimes people get a little
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
So we have two things,
Mhm.
Gabriel's House, the program, and Gabriel's House, the foundation.
Well,
And we
if-
got to keep our money
yeah, if your
separated.
check goes to the post office box, it's going to the foundation and you'll see the structure
Yes.
that your money's going towards. Otherwise, you can call and
Mhm.
talk to Mary Ann. So,
And I'll be glad to mail people a brochure if they want to, if they would just, you can even contact the Gabriel's House office though.
is
And-
someone there
Yes.
all
from-
day?
From
What-
10 till,
10 till the last kid leaves, about 6:45
Okay,
at night.
okay. So you're there a long time
Mhm.
and,
and even
That's
though
good.
we're separate entities,
mhm.
obviously, we're working together.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, one can't function without the
Right,
other, you
right,
know? I mean, you
absolutely.
guys are.
And we exist to help them,
Yes.
so
yes,
they're willing to help us.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys are like the dynamic duo.
We both have a passion for what we're doing.
Yes, and that's, I mean, people have great ideas all the time. All the time, people have ideas. But taking that first step, speaking it out loud,
Once you say it, can't take it back.
yeah, and then finding those like-minded, like-passioned people then you just feed off of each other, and it's just, and it's like, it's people like you who make communities better, which makes a state better, and makes the nation better, makes the world better.
One child at a time.
One child at a time. I love it. So Is Gabriel the name of the little boy that lived in the
No.
neighborhood?
No, I've had a lot of people ask me that, but I have been doing a lot of soul searching and reading and all that. And in my book, I talk about it. I grew up in a home where angels didn't exist. But I've been reading some really good books that said angels still do exist.
Mhm.
And I've actually got pictures in my book about it. But Gabriel was a warrior,
Mhm.
and he has children in his heart. And I've been reading this book and I thought, he's also, I think, one of the most important things in the New Testament. He's the bearer of good news.
Mhm.
He's the one that went to Mary
Mhm.
and said, you're going to bring this Savior into the world.
Right.
And I said, some of these kids need some good news. They need that bearer of good
Uh-huh.
news. And it just seemed like Gabriel's House would say that it's a spiritual program, but it's not connected to any denomination. And we still don't allow any, we have churches. One year we had 14 churches help with our end of school party. We tell them up front, no doctrine,
Mhm.
no doctrine.
Mhm.
This is not about any church or denomination. This is about being the hands and feet of Jesus to these children.
Right.
And so we've been able to pull that off all these years. You know, we won't allow that to come in.
Mhm. Well, yeah,
It
I
doesn't
mean,
have
it
to.
doesn't have to.
No.
Obviously, for 25
Yes, it
years,
doesn't have
church
to.
is working hand in
Yes,
hand.
yeah. And we didn't really open 25 years ago, but it was over 25 years when I spoke it. And it took a year and a half to ever make it happen. But we're getting dangerously close
I
to
was
that
gonna say, you're
25th
right
anniversary.
on
Yeah.
the verge
Yes.
of that.
And I want to say something too, is our children have always been welcomed in this facility. We didn't have a place big enough for all of our kids to come and do things. And we've done art classes here. We have done music
Mhm.
classes here. Our kids have always been able to come out and go through the museum, participate in the theater, you know, and things like that for free.
Right.
And so we're blessed to live in a community where the businesses like this
Mhm.
and the churches and all that support all the endeavors for these children.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Well, one other thing I was thinking about, where does the food come from that you serve the
you
children?
can answer that one, Candy.
It comes from the food bank.
Okay,
And then we are able to supplement that
okay. Uh-huh.
with other budgetary dollars. We got a huge grant, $25,000 grant from
Oh,
Walmart,
nice.
the largest grant that Walmart in the Duncan facility that the manager has ever remembers being given out. But we can supplement
Mhm.
the food as well.
Right, right. And then, oh man, when you said that Walmart thing, I was like, I chased that in my brain for a minute. I was thinking of something else. So the food comes from, oh, I know. You guys are a 501c3,
Yes.
but you are dealing with children on the daily.
Mhm.
What kind of like rules or I don't know, what kind of like outside, like state kind of things or federal things, what kind of guidelines are you guys under as far as that goes?
The United States Department of Agriculture connects up with our Oklahoma Food Bank,
Uh-huh.
and the Oklahoma structure connects up with the regional food bank, who we communicate with directly on, there is a specific link. And we pick up our food and then we report what food we use.
Mhm.
And so it's.
So that's all governed kind of
It's a
through
government,
the
and they
yes,
train us.
Department
We've,
of Agriculture.
all of the people that are in the hierarchy of Gabriel's House
Mhm.
have been to training with the Regional Food Bank of Oklahoma so that we're doing it all right and safe.
Right.
Yes.
Do you, what about, like having the children every day and transporting children? Are there like, does your board just write up the, the guidelines that you have to follow with that? Are there state rules that have any kind of governance over you as far as that's
The
concerned?
school buses drop the children off.
Uh-huh.
So it's from the point that they get to Gabriel's house, they're with the public schools.
Right.
And then they're left with us.
Mhm.
We make sure that no one picks up that child that is not authorized in writing to pick up that child. So once the children are in our hands,
Mhm.
we're in charge to keep that child safe, make sure no one takes that child that isn't authorized to take that child home.
And all
Right.
of our staff is fingerprinted, obviously, and
Background checks and all of those
Absolutely.
things.
Yes.
And so, and the parents, I'm guessing, when they complete the paperwork, they are signing things and permission, and they know upfront. So there's a trust factor.
Yes.
That's, of course, Gabriel's house is well respected, and, they've been around here in Duncan so long that people trust the name. But I was just thinking that people would want to know, that everyone has a background check and that there are very strict rules, and you guys are handling the children with the utmost integrity every single day.
Just like we would want our children, our grandchildren treated.
Mhm.
But we try to keep the children as safe as possible.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, can either of you think of anything else that you'd like to share? Wow, I talked them out. Woo!
I said
We
her-
appreciate
Yes.
the opportunity for you to allow us to take your time and your audience to present this compelling story
Mhm.
and our project, our dream,
Uh-huh.
to hopefully they can help us bring it to fruition.
Oh, right. I really hope that too. I hope that you guys get a lot of exposure from this, and just maybe some folks who aren't aware are able to become aware of all the good work that you're doing. And I'm so thrilled. How long have Comanche and Empire been participating? I think that that's awesome.
Comanche's 3 years, I believe, and then Empire, no, I take it back. Empire started first, but it's moved. It's in the Heritage Oaks Nazarene Church out on
Oh,
the beach now.
Okay.
And then the other one is at Patterson Avenue Baptist Church
Uh-huh.
in Comanche, and we get to use the whole upstairs of their building.
Very
Yes,
nice.
and that one's been open 2 years.
Wow.
Time
So
goes by.
did you ever think about expanding to other communities?
No.
Did those communities come to you?
Actually, one of the girls that worked for us said, we really ought to go out to Empire. And so we kind of looked into it. Fair Baptist Church at Empire let us use their building for a while, but then we kind of outgrew that, and so we moved. And one of the reasons we moved on beach too is a lot of the parents of the kids that go to Empire actually work in Duncan.
And so
And
they.
and it is in the Empire
Yeah.
School District,
Mhm.
but that way it made it just a little bit closer for them to leave work and pick their kids up.
Mhm. Very nice.
But
I love that. And, I know that there are other similar organizations, but there are always too many kids and not enough spots.
Right.
And so for Gabriel's house to be able to expand and grow like that is just such a wonderful.
And it's not always the numbers
Mhm.
that you're trying to grow, it's the quality
Mhm.
of what you can do
Right.
with the kids in the amount of time that you have them. And right now we feel limited,
Right.
but my brain just works overtime thinking about all the things that you could do with these kids to
Mhm.
stretch them and grow them. And we could have a greenhouse, we could do
Oh, yeah.
all kinds of things with
Yeah.
these kids.
Yeah.
So
An urban garden.
Oh, yeah, for
some
sure.
of them don't even know where food comes from.
Yeah, true. I've often thought that Elm Terrace Apartments, to have a garden
Uh-huh.
in that apartment complex.
Wouldn't that
would
be awesome?
just be a community garden. I just, I just don't know what it would take, but anyway,
A
those are,
lot less than you think.
that's probably
I've
true.
been
Probably
involved
true.
in some of those in Michigan,
Uh-huh.
so, yes.
There you go. I'm talking.
Mhm.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bonnie, thank you. Thank you for following your heart. Thank you for speaking it out loud. And thank you for never turning your brain off, because I think you generate all kinds of great ideas, just always.
Mhm.
You're always thinking of something awesome. And, you got the kids in mind all the time. And it's lovely. It's so wonderful to have someone like you here in our
Mhm.
community. And Mary Ann, thank you for
Oh.
coming back and jumping in with both feet.
It
And,
is
you
my
know,
pleasure. It is truly my honor. to
Your
do that.
expertise is just
Valuable.
going to, I feel like help Gabriel's house just, you spoke about experience with fundraising and, grant writing, all those kinds of things. I mean, the sky is literally the limit, and the children are the beneficiaries. And so we are so thankful for both of you. Well, ladies, when we in the program, we like to say happy trails together. So are you guys ready? All right, well, let's tell them then. We'll see you guys next time. Happy
Happy
trails.
trails.